Throughout the Second World War, many countries utilised small commando units to inflict damage on the enemy. These units were able to secretly enter enemy territory and undertake their clandestine operations. But for most of the war, Germany weren't part of this. Their large-scale army units, extensive navy and high-flying air force were enough. So did Germany have naval commandos? Well, in today's video, we talk about the German Frogmen of World War II. If you enjoy this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It's free and really helps the channel reach more history lovers like you. Early on in the war, the British were certainly on board with commando units. Their elite troops would famously take part in numerous raids into German-held territory to destroy or disrupt their infrastructure. The Italians too had a small unit of naval commandos who conducted similar operations and were able to use specifically designed underwater transports. By 1942, Germany began experimenting with frogmen, as they saw a use for these types of units in destroying Allied shipping. These men were hand-picked from the German Navy to undertake training with special underwater breathing systems. They would also train with their Italian counterparts, who were by this time seasoned in commando raids. Eventually, after approval from Admiral Dönitz, the Marine Einsatzkommando, or MEK, were created. By 1944, 3 units consisting of 23 specially trained men were ready to undertake operations. At this time, the Allies had already landed in Normandy, so much of the commandos' operations were on the back foot. In July 1944, they used small submersibles to attack ships off the French coast, and succeeded in sinking 2, including a British destroyer. As the Allies began to push through Europe, the German commandos were tasked with blowing up bridges and locks to slow the advance. Many of these operations were successful. Use of underwater mines and high explosives allowed for these units to enter Allied-held territory and destroy their targets with relative ease. In September 1944, with Operation Market Garden already underway, a daring and dangerous mission was created. At this time, the British held 2 key bridges in the Dutch town of Nijmegen. One was a railway bridge, the other a road. The importance of these bridges was nothing small, as it allowed the Allies to resupply their lines up towards Arnhem. The Luftwaffe were at a high risk of failure in destroying both bridges, as their air defences around them were heavy. This mission therefore fell to the German commandos. On the night of 28 September 1944, 2 small units of 12 German frogmen sent off into the River Vaal. The plan was for them to enter the water to the west of the bridges, in German-held territory. They would float down the river towards their targets, set their explosives, each on a timer, then continue floating downriver and back into Germany, where the explosives would detonate. The initial part of the mission went off successfully. The first group of frogmen set off for the railway bridge, where they were able to attach their explosives to the piers, which sunk to the bottom with their timers ticking. The second group then went towards the road bridge. They ran into some issues with fixing their explosives in the correct position. Eventually, with the explosives in place, they too set off downstream to Germany. After swimming for nearly 7 miles or 11 kilometres, some of the frogmen left the water thinking they were back in Germany. They were wrong. Still in Allied-held land, they were shot at, with 3 commandos eventually dying from wounds. 7 more were taken prisoner, with only 2 making it back to their lines. Once the explosives went off, the railway bridge suffered huge damage, with the central span falling into the river. It caused huge issues of resupply for the Allies in the months to come. But the road bridge wasn't as bad. A large hole was blown into the road, which was quickly repaired within 48 hours. Although not entirely successful, the operation was a great example of the operations undertaken by German commandos of the Second World War, perhaps a small unit of the war which is often overlooked. Did you know about the German Naval Commandos of World War II? What did you think of their operation in Nijmegen? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to expand your knowledge and join the growing Premier History community.